Hello and welcome back to my Devil May Cry 5 Hell and Hell S-Rank guide. This is Mission 10, Awaken, and it's time for Dante. So if you got any fine, matured wines, I suggest you bring them out, because there's going to be a lot of cheese to go with that. The Dante missions is not going to be anything fancy or complicated at all. We're just going to use the Dr. Faust hat as much as possible, against both the bosses and all the enemy types. You will need a lot of red orbs, as the only Dr. Faust move we're going to use is the standard shooting by holding X, or square, and the meteor, which is gunslinger plus forward, holding the style button in and releasing after a charge or two. I've posted a link to a red orb farming method in the description if you need red orbs. We're going to go for the no damage 2.0 multiplier on all Dante missions. A thing to note is that if you make a mistake and take a hit and don't want to lose the red orbs by restarting, you can press the X and B button on the PlayStation or Xbox controller and just quit the game before it has time to save, and then you reload the mission from the beginning. Just keep in mind that there are no checkpoints on Hell and Hell, so if you take a hit and you have to quit out and restart the mission from the very beginning. This is the reason I find the Dr. Faust method a bit tedious, but it's still very easy to pull off, so don't worry too much about that. If you've done the Narrow and or V missions beforehand, you can pretty much consider the Dante missions your victory march towards the Worthy of Legend trophy or achievement. As for weapons and equipment, it doesn't really matter. On a few missions, this mission in particular, we're going to need to do some regular combos to make sure we get the style points. Just keep whatever swords or guns you're most comfortable with. The only two weapons you need to make sure you have is the Dr. Faust hat, obviously, for the cheese, and the King Cerberus for the Ice Age shields against the Furies. On mission 12 and 17, the Balrog punching mode is also going to be very useful, but I'll go through that as we get there. So on the first fight here, we're going to go for some style points. So just use a combo here that you're comfortable with. You don't need to do anything fancy. I'm just doing what I usually do with Dante here. And when the Impusas and the Impusa Queen spawn here, I tend to use the double Kalina Ann gunslinger forward, just to get some easy style points up. Then I'm just finishing the enemies here with the Kalina Ann. And now I got the double S, which is going to translate into all the style points we're going to need on this mission. I'm just going to use the Dr. Faust here and shoot and end the fight. And on the upcoming fight here, it can be a little tricky with the Dr. Faust meteor. Sometimes you get the Hell Judekia, and sometimes you don't get it. There's two things you can do then. If you don't get the Hell Judekia, you can just restart and redo the fight against the Impusa Queen, or you can shoot her. But in this attempt here, I'm going to get the Judekia with the meteor. So as the enemies are standing up here, the Caninas are standing up here, I'll just charge the meteor. Just one charge, and getting rid of the Judekia and the Caninas, and then I'm just shooting the rest of the enemies with the Dr. Faust. And as you see, the Dr. Faust, when you've done a certain amount of damage, it stuns the enemies. And that goes for all enemies. Even if they have power armor, they will get stunned. And here I'm also going to get some style points against the Chaoses, which is very easy. So you just shoot them when they spin until their glow goes from yellow to red. So it went red there. And then I do a Devil Trigger Stinger, and then I just do a combo on the Chaos. I'm just doing my usual go-to combo here, get the style points up. Then I'm just going to use the Dr. Faust standard shooting to get rid of the other two Chaoses here. So, as you saw there, I started to shoot before they even stood up, to do maximum damage when they stand up. Next up is the Fury. And the Fury is not an enemy you need to worry about. If you've done the Nero mission, you will know how they telegraph their attacks. And it's usually they pull out the sword and attack immediately, or they blink with their eyes, do one fake, and then attack. But the Ice Age lasts for quite a long time, so you can pretty much, as soon as they telegraph their attack, you can just use the Ice Age. And then it will get stunned from hitting the Ice Age shield. You see here now, he blinks, does one fake, and I activate the Ice Age shield, and then I'm just finishing him. He does the same thing now, but he glitches there. So I panic and I dodge to the side and I get him after he done his 2 attacks. So absolutely nothing to worry about. And on the next fight I'm gonna use the Dr. Faust Meteor to end it right away. It's usually on Dante must die, a very tricky fight, but the Meteor just cleanses this fight, you could say. So there, as you see there, I'm walking forward, and immediately as I see the enemy spawning, I start charging the Meteor. And there's the fight. Probably one of the hardest fights in the game on Dante must die, and it takes 1 second here with the Dr. Faust hat. And here I'm gonna make sure I get the Baphomet. So first there's gonna be a cutscene, they won't spawn yet. Then you can go forward. And then I'm walking slowly forward. Now I see the enemies start spawning. I'll start charging up the Meteor. I wait for the Baphomet. I lock onto the Baphomet, and then that's the Baphomet out of the way, and then I just shoot the Chaoses. And from now on, if you've done a combo on the first Impuses and the Chaoses, you don't need to worry about style points at all on this mission. You can just use the Dr. Faust here. And here we're going to utilize the camera manipulation technique. So I'm just going to dodge with Trickster and get the camera off the Pyrobat so they won't shoot. And then I'll just shoot without locking on, so the camera doesn't get fixated on the Pyrobat. See here, just having the camera on the walls, and then I just shoot the Dr. Faust. And when you kill the Pyrobats here, another big Pyrobat is gonna spawn, and a Fury. So after I've taken care of the Pyrobats, I charge up a Meteor to do some damage on the Fury and kill the Pyrobat. And then I'll just switch to King Cerebus and do the Ice Age shield and kill the Fury without any problems. So he blinks, he will do 1 fake, and that's the end of him. And now it's just 1 fight left. And then Urizen, which he goes very fast on with the Dr. Faust. His shield goes down very fast, so it's nothing to worry about at all. And if you've done the fight on Hell and Hell against him with Nero, you should be familiar with all his moves. This is another fight where I charge up the Meteor right away. And it's gonna clear all the enemies here except the Baphomet, and I will just shoot the Baphomet with the Dr. Faust. So, as you see there, I'm walking forward slowly. Then when I see them spawn, I start charging the Meteor. That cleared all the Scudos and the Proto-Angelo, and it's just the Baphomet left, and I'm just shooting it with the Dr. Faust. and now it's just Urizen left, and then you got the first mission with Dante out of the way. And it won't get any harder than this. The Pyrobat fight here is probably the worst fight of all the Hell in Hell fights where if you use the Dr. Faust method with Dante. So I'm just shooting his shield, dodging with Trickster. So whenever I see him do an animation, I stop shooting and prepare to dodge. But there it was the artillery, and that one takes a lot of time to reach you. So I just shot, just continue to shoot. And the Trickster style is the equivalent of Nero's Gerba. There you go. You can get the 2.0 damage multiplier here, because when you get the shield down, as you saw there, it's just a cutscene. So I got the 2.0 multiplier. I didn't take a single hit.